Hello there, welcome back on this lovely Saturday. I didn't get any responses to what you'd like me to do next, so I will be going with this one today. After this video, if there is anything you want me to do, just, name something. I've got Krispy Kreme, I've got Hello Kitty, I've got more of these, I've got lots of things in the works. So if there's something particular, like another animal one that you want me to make, or a food item, or just let me know what you'd like me to make and I will facilitate in the best way I can. But for today we're going to be making one of these mold-its. So the first thing we have is this little Miniverse tray. You can't really tell what it's, there we go, so it says Miniverse there. You can tell if I put it into the light a bit there. So that is the tray that we will be doing things on today. Then we have this little package, which is just a nice little paper wrapped thing again. And on here we have a really pretty little ornate tray. And this shows you this mold-it set. I'd rather be decorating, totally killing it. How do I look? You look cute, etc, etc. So I'll just leave that there for a moment so that, again, if you want to pause and read as much of it as you can, you can. Okay. So I'll put that to one side. I don't know if I have that one, so I'll put it in the not sure box. Let's show you the things that you can get in this one. So you can get the rose teapot and teacups, the jade teapot and jade teacups, the calico cat teapot and calico kitty cups, the tabby cat teapot and black kitty teacups, the groovy candles and the mushroom candles, the marbled arc candles and two-tone arc candles, the crystal seashell vase and coral seashell vase, and the planter buds. I do have quite a lot of these. The teacups are on their way from my lovely mini friend. I don't have either of the rose ones. I'm not sure really what the point would be, because obviously, well, you'll see in a minute. You'll see why I think it's not much of a point. The tray would be cool, and the extra items would be cool. But, I do have this set. I do have this set. I have the mushroom candles. I need the groovy candles. I don't have either of these. I don't have either of these, and I do have the planter buds. So I'll put that to one side upside down so we don't know straight away what we're getting. Obviously I know, but there we are. Liquid sand, Sunny Studio. We have a tiny little square of sandpaper. We have some glittery mica. We have a nozzle, a little applicator brush. We have a handle, a lid, and a spout in jade. So we know this is going to be the Jade Teapot. And we have our mould. Now this is why I said I'm not sure if I necessarily need these, because obviously this, you can put any colour into it to make those. But as I say, the tray, the spoons, and the little patisseries you don't get. I mean, you don't get the patisseries in these anyway. So, but yeah. So I don't know. I might get the rose set just for the tray and the special spoons. But I mean, it doesn't look like you get spoons in this one either, actually, looking at it. So it's just the tray, really. Anywho, so this is what we're going to be doing. So this is everything that we got. This is how you make it. And there you are. So first things first, let's demold the teapot mould. Obviously it's silicone, so it's very squishy, which is going to help with the demoulding afterwards. It has this stand bit, so you can have it upside down like that when you're moulding, which is why I say this is what we're going to be making it in. You can squish that into there so that it stands up, which makes it easier to go into your lamp or whatever. But we're going to turn this inside out because that's what the instructions tell you to do. So we turn that inside out. Please don't remove me, YouTube. I didn't know it was going to look like that when I took it out. I do apologise. This is well, it's not a family channel. I've said it's not for children because I use resin and I don't think that's responsible. But there we are. So we get a little bit of the mica onto our paintbrush like this, and then just pop it on there. From what I can gather from the instructions on this one, this gives it sort of just like a little bit of a sheen. I don't know why I'm doing that bit because that's going to be inside the teapot. You're not going to see it, but it is what it is. I'll just make sure I do a small coat on that because, as I say, you're not going to see it. So I don't know why I just bothered with that. But this bit, however, you will see. So I'll just make sure that it's all nice and coated. Maybe you can see inside the teapot from the outside. I don't know. I've not actually watched anybody else do these ones. But there we are. I hope everyone's having a great day. It's a nice Saturday. There's a dog asleep on my back as I'm doing this. Yeah, the bigger of the two, which is even worse, he's asleep on my back. And my little lady is asleep on the sofa. Having a nice lazy Saturday they are, which is always good. So yeah, you can see the glitteriness of that. It's not glittery as much as it's shimmery, I suppose, is probably the better word. It doesn't glitter, it shimmers. I've got some on my finger, so I'm going to shimmer all day now. Well, until I wash my hands, which won't be much longer. See yours. I've got quite a lot of things, as I said at the start of this video, I've got quite a lot of things that I can do. I've got quite a lot of unfinished sets, you know, things that people have gifted to me, you know, bits and pieces that I've purchased when I've seen them on sale and stuff like that. So I have a lot. So if there's anything particular that you would like to see made, you know, maybe you've got one and you're like, oh, I don't know, I don't know how to approach it. I know what the instructions say, but I'm not sure, you know, I want to see someone else do it, and you can't find anybody else online that's doing it. Just pop me a message. I've got some special ones that I haven't made yet that I want to make, so, you know. So that is that all lustered. I'm going to use this bit to poke it back through because I don't want to rub that off, and I'm worried that if I touch the rest of it, it's going to rub it off. Eek. This is not the easiest thing in the world, but there we go. Ta-da! So, all of the luster dust is on the inside. Pop that to one side, pop that to one side. Rub my hands off onto my clothes. So yeah, we just pop that into this divot in the bottom. As you can see, it's nice and sturdy now. And then the next thing it says to do is to put the resin in. So this has just been in a box. I keep my unmade ones in a underbed storage box. This is one of the first ones I bought, and I'll be honest, I forgot about it. Unfortunately, I have this thing where if I can't see it, I forget it exists when it comes to items, not people, obviously. So yeah, I completely forgot that I had this, and then a friend of mine was like, oh, I've got some of these spares, do you need them? And I was like, I don't know. So I went looking. This looks like it's quite a nice jade colour in there, actually. Look at that, pretty. So let's pop some of that in there. I always start with just a small amount like that, and then just let it sort of do its thing, because if I do a small amount and just let it cascade, it's less likely to bubble, because obviously it's a very thin layer. As the resin moves over the structure, if there are any bubbles, they'll stretch and pop. So this is the way that I do things. You don't have to do things the way I do. I've always said this, but this is the way I do these things. So again, a little bit more. Just let it do its thing. You know, because I feel that's the best way of getting a nice even coverage and the smallest amount of bubbles possible. You all right there, Brock? Oh, he's just moved around in his sleep and made little... Oh, he's sighing now. Bless him. So, there we go. So just going to keep doing that. As you can see, I haven't really put much in, but it's already up to that line. So I don't think it's going to take a huge amount to fill this, to be honest. But I just keep putting a little bit on top of there. So far I haven't seen any bubbles. That doesn't mean that they don't exist. But as I say, if you know, you don't have to, but if you do things the way that I do them when it comes to this, then, you know, you will get a nice even coverage and the bubbles will be minimal, which is what you want. So let's just do that again. Putting a bit more on there now because we're getting to a wider space, so it'll have more room to disperse. But it is going pretty quick. As soon as I put a layer on, it seems like it's dissipating really, really quickly, which is good. The only thing I don't like about this is that these aren't moulds. I wish that these were in moulds, because then you could make as many as you liked. Whereas you only get the mould for the teapot itself. And as you'll see once I've demoulded it, it has little holes for you to attach these bits into. Which obviously if you were then to use the mould again, you would just have a teapot with some holes in it, which isn't a very useful teapot. These are on the large side, I would say. It's like a teapot for a family of 8, if you were to put them in a doll's house. But they're going to be going as display pieces in my Alice in Wonderland doll's house. So I'm not overly bothered about the size, but they're probably, they're definitely not 24th scale. They're definitely not 12th scale. And I think they're perhaps 6th scale, like 1/6, maybe, or 1/8. I'm not sure really. I like them. I think they're really, really cool items, and the mushroom candles that I made were just stunning. I won't show you on this one because, as I say, I have a dog asleep on my back and I don't really want to awaken it. But I will show you those finished. I'm just waiting for that to settle because I've got to the top of the mould now. So I'm just waiting for that to settle so it goes flat. You have got, as I say, the sandpaper, so that if you do have an uneven surface, you can sand it down. But I would like to make this as even a surface as I possibly can. Just going to double check and make sure that there are no bubbles that have crept in somehow. So I do that by just sort of giving it a little bit of a squiz. As I say, it is very squishy. Give it a little bit of a squiz. And if there are any bubbles, see, I can see one now. If there are any bubbles that have somehow made it through, that will make them come to the top a bit. So I'm just going to give that a bit of a tap. Don't throw it around. See if I can still see that bubble that I saw before. No, that has gone, which is good. There is one a bit further down, it looks like. I don't know if you can catch that on camera. It's sort of in there. I don't really want any bubbles, let alone one closer to the bottom. Don't come out of there. No. 1 second, I'm just going to pop you on pause and try and get these out. Okay, so I'm very glad I paused you to do that, because just after I did, someone went past the house making lots of noise and set both dogs off. So there were a couple of bubbles that I managed to get out. There are still a couple of teeny weeny ones on top there that I've been trying to get rid of, but they just won't go. So I think I'm just gonna let them stay in there. It's on the bottom, so it's not going to be the end of the world. So yeah, let's pop you in my lamp and then we can progress from there. So again, I'm just going to pop you on pause a moment while that cures, because I might need to do it a couple of times because it's quite a lot of resin. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I put it in twice because I wasn't convinced on the first cure that it was fully done. So it feels like it's done, but we will see when we start unboxing. I also took the tape and plastic off of my bits because that wasn't really necessary to do on camera, and popped the nozzle onto my resin because this is then used to attach these pieces. Having taken them out, I am a little bit confused because obviously we've put the hue dust in here, which obviously gives it a nice sheen, but these don't have the same sheen, so I'm not sure how that's going to look, which is annoying, but we will see. So when I demold, I always pull from the edges first, like that, all the way around, and then I get my thumb underneath there and push that up, and then just pull it off around the outside like that, and then ta-da, we haven't got any bubbles, but the inside is still liquid by the looks of it. Don't know if you can see that. So I'm going to pop that back in to the lamp and pop you on pause again. Sorry, one moment. So I'm not sure how you are planning on making this, if you make it. I have never been more glad that I did a make on video than I am with this one. I messed up, but also I have some other tips to tell you. So obviously luster dust, and then resin, and then it says to cure it upside down in the thing for 10 to 15 minutes in the sun. So I'm going to stop to put my finger in there because it keeps going blurry when I do. 10 to 15 minutes in the sun, which I think is probably about 2 minutes in my powerful lamp, and then to turn it up the other way and do it for another 10 to 15 minutes, which I didn't even notice. So that was why I still had some liquid in it. It is on its hopefully last cure now. I have had to put it in 5 times now, so that's 10 minutes of alternating up and down, upside down and right way up, in a high power lamp. So if you're going to do it with sunlight, then just leave it out there for about half an hour, then turn it upside down another half an hour, I guess, maybe. And if you're going to do it in a nail lamp, you need to put it in there for 5 minutes one way and then 5 minutes the other way, or alternate 2 minutes on each would probably be better. Let's see how this turned out. I'm very scared. Last time I took it out, there was still some liquid in it. So yes, there is still some liquid in it. It's all cured, but there's liquid inside the cure. I don't know if you can see, but it's still moving around in there a little bit. I don't mind it. I don't hate the fact that that's in there. Once I've obviously put these bits in and cured it again, it might right itself a bit, but you can see it is quite pretty, even without the handles and stuff. But as I say, if you're just using this mould and you don't have these pieces, that's what you're going to end up with as your final cure. So let's pop some of this resin in here. Obviously that's been up the right way for a long time now. There we go. I'm not going to do a huge amount because I don't want it to splurge out, but I also don't want it to not cure. So I'm just going to pop the handle in there gently. This is not me, by the way, this little black spot, that's just part of the, you know, they've cured this, they've made this themselves. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to cure it on its side like that. I might pop it back. Do you know what, I'm going to pop in here like that, And then I'm going to pop that back in because I don't want it to fall over in the lamp and that spout come off. So I'm just going to pop that back into the lamp. I'll be back with you in 2 minutes. Okay, so that is the spout done. I let it splurge a little bit at the bottom so that it would actually cure, because I was thinking, this is quite opaque. So I did let a little bit of the resin pop out the bottom there, and that has helped it to have a nice cure, and you can't tell when it's upright. I might end up painting this with some clear UV resin and some luster dust, because as I say, you can see the difference between the spout and the rest, because they've told us to put the dust on this, but then there's no dust on this. I didn't need to what's the word I'm looking for, sand the bottom, because as you can see it's it's good, but it says on the instructions to put the spout and handle on and then cure it. Absolutely do not do that. Just putting the spout on, I had to have it in an angle to make it cure properly. If I'd have put the spout and thing on and just done that, they both would have fallen out. So yeah, I would suggest not doing that. I'm going to pop a little bit more in here. Tiniest drop in that bit, and the tiniest drop in that bit. Let them settle a second and then pop the handle in. And again, I'm going to let it, oh, that doesn't even sit there very nicely, does it? I'm going to let it splurge out a tiny bit, not enough so it's noticeable, but enough so that you can see that there's some resin outside. I'm going to hold this under the lamp with my hand while it cures, because it keeps trying to pop out, and I'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay, so here we are, finished. Everything's in nice and sturdy. It looks as though the liquid on the inside has sorted itself out now that the handle and spout are on, which is interesting. I did end up sanding the bottom a little bit, because as I put it down it was sort of blobbling around a little bit. Now it's not, so you can see just a little tiny bit. You can see where it was slightly proud. There's like a matte bit in the middle, but that's going to be the bottom, so I'm not bothered about that at all. So now all that's left is to pop the little lid on, and there we go. Now that I've seen it all together, I'm not sure if I'm going to go back and luster dust these bits, because I think it looks quite nice, the fact there's two different contrasting things, but it does annoy me that in the picture it shows that they all look the same, because obviously they don't. So that is our finished teapot. What do we think? Is this one that you're interested in doing yourself? It's still a little bit wobbly, isn't it? I might have to sand a bit more of that. But yeah, is this one that you're interested in doing yourself? Is this one that you like? Do you think I should do something like that on the next video? Another mould it? Or do we think that maybe that, we don't like them? I don't know. I quite like them. I think that you need to interpret the instructions a bit better and actually fully read them, which I did not do. Let me just give that a little bit more of a sanding while we're here. And then I will go and grab my mushroom candles just to show them to you. And then we'll be done on this video. So you can, if you want, put a bit of clear resin on that, but that's much better now. So there we go. Let me just go and grab I'm going to pop you on pause a second, go grab the mushroom candles, and then I'll be right back. So here are my previously made mushroom candles. You get a really cute little wood slice base. It's got an M stamped into it, so I've had it displayed that way up. And then these are your little candles that you make. They're very cute. I do love them a lot. I was desperate for this set and I couldn't find it anywhere. And then I did, and I was happy. So that's the mushroom candles. Let me see if I can try and... Woo. I will lift them up and show you properly. There we go. Yeah, I think they're really lovely. So that's it for this video. I hope you've really enjoyed it. I hope that you've learnt from my mistakes about not reading the instructions. As I say, if you want me to do something Christmassy, Harry Potter, Hello Kitty, another mould it, Krispy Kreme, just a random food make, whatever you want me to do, just please comment. If you're not comfortable commenting in front of everybody else, feel free to pop me a direct message. I don't mind. Always nice to hear from everybody. But yeah, just let me know what you want me to do next, and I will do that for you on the next video. There is our finished piece. Let's see if I can zoom in. I've not tried this before. There we go. Yep. And there we are. Enjoy your day, everybody. Bye-bye.